This is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel here in Mount Holly, New Jersey at Preservation Fest. There's a whole bunch of vans here and cool campers. I bumped into Tina, and Tina's gonna give us a tour of her DIY ProMaster camper van conversion. So join us.
Hi Patrick. Oh, thank you so much for having me on your show. I watch your YouTube all the time, and I'm so happy to share some of the things about my van. So, as Patrick mentioned, this is a self-build for the most part. Some of the things I did have professionals do for me. I had them put the windows in. So I bought the van and someone had already started the conversion. So there were some things already there, but it didn't have windows. So I did have a professional do windows for me. There is a 100-watt solar panel on the roof, and that was there when I bought it, and a fan, so the exhaust fan. And then the cladding. I really love the cladding that goes all the way up and around. It was painted a different color, so I painted it white to give it more of a sort of a cottagey vibe. And let me take you in. So this is my little home on wheels. I'm a weekender, so I really don't live in this full time. So there were things that I really did not need. You'll notice I don't really have a shower. I mostly stay in state parks, and they have showers and full-blown bathrooms, so that was going to be fine with me. I do have a urine diverting toilet, and that's down here, and it's great because it doesn't smell at all. I use it as a little side table. I use it as a way to step up into my bed. So it's perfect for my needs. Again, only a couple of days, I can get really a lot of good use out of that. I have a queen size bed, full queen size bed, so there's plenty of room for sleeping. I love it. I did have mosquito netting, like these bug walls put in, and I love that because I was at the shore before I had those, and the bugs were crazy. It drove me bananas. So I have it on the side, and then I also have it in the back. One of the things that I have that I really think is important to show you guys and your viewers is my refrigerator. So I really didn't know whether I was going to need the refrigerator to open from the left or the right, and I found one that opens from both sides and has a freezer for a little bit of ice, right? Because I like to have ice with my drinks, and it opens this way too. I thought that was fantastic. That was perfect for me. Size is great. Now, underneath, I plan to put a drawer, but I'm, kind of a do-it-yourselfer. I'm not quite sure how to do the drawer yet. So I just put a little plastic bin in there, and someday I'll put a drawer. I have blackout curtains. And I had another van before this one, a smaller van, and it had the blackout curtains, so I just reused them. And there are clips up here, so I have sort of an insulating curtain and the blackout curtain, and they're just clipped. In fact, two of these little clips came undone. And so they're great, and no one can see any light when I do them. So I do have the swivel seats, and both of them swivel, although I really mostly just use the passenger side. And I'm a knitter and a quilter, and I like to do things like that. I was at a knitting show, and somebody was selling lambskin covers for the seats. So I really love that I have that little bit of me in the van. Up top here, I have my window covers and some other things that I don't really need to access too frequently. Some of my winter clothing, hats, gloves, things like that I keep up there. My lights are really cool. I was using battery-powered lights, but I was replacing the batteries. It didn't really make sense. It wasn't very sustainable. So I use these. I got them off of Amazon. You plug them in, charge them, so they're rechargeable. And then I have the, these things. I didn't even remember what they're called. And they just go right up there, and then it's not turned on. There, I have lights. I have a really nice lagoon table here, and that can actually, what's really cool is you can put it outside, and you have a nice height, sort of bar height, table. And I recently found on eBay somebody who's making a lagoon mount that goes onto your seat. And so that is also a game changer because I can sit there and work on my computer. Under here I have just storage for my clothing and outdoor items and things like that. Here I have, this is from IKEA. A lot of people have these. It's a magnetic strip, and that way I don't have to go looking for my utensils. And even my scissors, if I keep them open like that, they'll stick on there, which is really cool. What I love about my van is I had to figure out a way to do my sink. And my first build had a foot pump, but that really wasn't working so well for me. So I have a rechargeable pump. And again, I just got that off of eBay. And underneath, you can see I have one of those blue things that you get from the supermarket or Home Depot. And so when it gets empty, I either fill it with my hose, or if I'm out on the road, I can just swap it out and buy a new one. Then I also have something for the wastewater, and then I just pull it out. Now I did build this myself, just by 2x4s, and I special ordered a piece of busher block that was teak. I did have to cut it out myself, and that was pretty harrowing. That was a little difficult, and I think I made it a little too big, but that's okay because it has a nice lip. And I will eventually take the piece that I cut out, sand it down so that it can sit in that lip. So for electricity, I only use really my Jackery. And my van, when I bought it, had a 100-watt solar panel on the roof, and it comes down to a plug. So the person who had it before was doing something very similar. They had either a Jackery or a Blue Eddy. So I plug it in there. The solar comes down and feeds my Jackery, powers it up. Then for a long time, I would just use my Jackery. I would plug in whatever I had on house power. I could plug in, USBs. Now, what I figured out, and actually by watching your show, there is a woman who you did a program with, Joni, I think her name was. She was a traveling nurse. She now does sort of van builds and stuff on her own. She inspired me to build out a little bit more of my electricity. So what happens again is it comes down from my solar panel into my Jackery. Then from this cigarette lighter, which is plugged in to the power, this leads under my bed, and we'll probably go to the back and look. It leads under my bed to a distribution panel, so to speak, with the circuits, the circuit breakers that if you have a problem, they'll cut the power. So then it feeds the power out to my entire van, whatever I need. So the vent on the top, that's powered by it. My refrigerator is powered by it. And I have a couple of USB ports that are also powered by my Jackery via the distribution panel in my garage in the back. So I really thank her. And I thank you, Patrick, for having that because it inspired me.
And I'll cut in here. It would be Johnny's Journey.
That's it.
Awesome. She does amazing work. If you guys want to check out Johnny's Journey on YouTube, definitely, she's very entertaining and very talented.
Yep, she inspired me. So I wanted more storage. I needed a little more storage. I didn't have enough knowledge to make like cabinets. Plus, I really like the openness that I have going on here. So I finally figured out how to make shelves. And I'm really proud of these, actually. And I thought if I have matching baskets, it looks sort of all uniform, and it gives the vibe that I was interested in. Oh, golly. You know what? This is from This Ends Up. This is furniture from This Ends Up. I found it at a Goodwill store, some thrift store, and I have been watching YouTube forever, and a lot of the YouTube channels say that you shouldn't have regular furniture in your van only because all of the vibrations when it's driving, it will eventually make that furniture fall apart. But This Ends Up seems to be really pretty sturdy stuff. And I've also got it kind of wedged in between my little kitchenette here and my bed. And it works perfectly. I love that it has this little lip. I keep my Jackery on top of it, and that Jackery has never fallen off, even when I've slammed on my brakes and other things have gone flying. So it's been perfect for me. Let's see, over here I just have another shelf that I built. And one little tip for your viewers too is I left this open because that's the light that's connected to the doors. And there's one over the bed also. And so when you open the door, you automatically have a light when you come in. And for me, that's really important for security reasons. And also I can just see everything. So down here, I went to a foam store, basically got foam cut to measure, and have a huge amount of space down here for all of my clothes. And I'll show you outside, I actually have access to the other one from the outside. Oh, and I need a little help getting out sometimes. So having the Lagoon table mount here is great. Boom. I have access to what's under that bench. So that's usually my outdoor stuff when I want to build a fire, when I want my hammock. I have it all in there. So let me take you to the back. Now I did invest in this. This is a Yakima product. They are pretty pricey, but when you have something hanging off your van, you really want to know you can trust it. So it's locked at the moment, but it gives me a lot of extra storage. And what happens is it swings back. When I saw this, I knew I had to have it. So it swings back and locks. But when you need to get into the back of the van, you need to do it easily, at least I do, and it'll come back and it'll lock. And they actually have like a whole system that you can put on this. And that's really nice, like a bike rack and things like that. A friend of mine helped me install a roof rack and an awning. So that was done on our own. I put in the ladder myself. It was pretty easy. YouTube, again, easy to watch YouTube and learn these things. And this is my garage, messy as it is. But you can see my, you can see my distribution panel is right there. It's a little bit chaotic, but I did run it through a PVC pipe so that I could kind of keep it neat, and then also when I need to run more wire, I can just fish it through. So I built the bed on my own. I just built a structure underneath with, I think they're called joist hangers, and 2x4s. And then at IKEA, I got a slat bottom, so that gives it that circulation that you need. I had bug wall install some screens. That was really important for me, especially if I was at the beach or somewhere where there's a lot of bugs. I can keep them out, and then I can also access my bed from the back. So that's my van, Pat.
Tina, thank you very much for taking the time today to give us a tour of your awesome DIY creation. I love that it checks off all the boxes for your weekend adventure travel. And what's cool about this van, it's adaptable.
Yes.
Things could be moved around, things could be added down the road as your commitment to the travel changes. Right now, you're just getting away for a weekend. You have some commitments here that you got to take care of. But down the road, one day, you might be traveling full time. Now, off camera, we talked a little bit about you may be getting a little bit bigger battery system, or you have a dual jackery system. Right.
So today, when I have a couple of rainy days, my jackery really does get depleted. So I bought a second 500. So I have a jackery 500 and a second as a backup. So I power up the one. Well, actually, I power up both when I'm at home. I use the one, I keep the other spare, and when it depletes, obviously, I swap them out, and then I charge them up. Because what was happening was, before I bought my second one, I'd have to go to Starbucks, or I would go to a restaurant, or even a library for a couple of hours to power up my jackery. And I thought, they're expensive, but probably worth it, so I have two.
I know not a lot of builders talk about budget of the build part of it. Mm-hmm. And just to recap here, this is, what year van is it?
It's a 2017.
So 2017 Ram ProMaster 159 non-extended. So you bought the chassis, had some work done to it to get it partially a camper. Do you want to share with us maybe budget? How much does it cost to get it to here?
No, I'm happy to do that. So I bought it for $50,000. It was before the interest rates went up. So I've got a really sweet interest rate, which is great. And I've probably probably have put about $20,000 into it at least. And then of course a lot of labor.
And the costs add up. Labor to have someone do something, and your labor is free, right?
Yeah,
your design, your engineering, everything's free. But you totally knocked it out of the park. I love this fan. I love the organic. Like, this is what I built. Serves my purpose. And if you have a blog or website or social media, I'll definitely mention that in the description if you want people to follow along. This is Patrick in New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.